Feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Shrimp Tank in Boston today. We're doing this today from our Zoom studio because of the pandemic and being quarantined, obviously. And I'm joined by my good friend and my co-host today, Chris Collins. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, doing the same thing I do every day. You know, I'm sitting in my dining room, and I'm not dining. I'm doing the shrimp tank. So every day it's a little something different, but the only thing that doesn't change is the location.
That's right.
I just sit here. So
that's right. The show must go on no matter what, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Right.
So it's been as everybody knows, it's been a trying time, but a testing time and an interesting time. You find out a lot about yourself when you're looking at the same walls every day.
That's right. That's right. And today we have our mutual friend. We have Brandon Gilson today from Free Seats VIP Experience. That's how we say it, right, Brandon?
TBS VIP.
TBS VIP. So I thought today, listen, I want to just remind everybody that the whole premise of the show is where book smarts and street smarts collide. So what we do here at the Shrimp Tank is we interview some of the greatest and some of the best minds in the city of Boston who are entrepreneurs and making things happen. And obviously it's a very unique time. A lot of these businesses and our friends and community members have been impacted pretty greatly about their businesses and how they're going to make things happen. But I do want to remind our listeners that we're broadcasting in something like 13 cities. We have over 800 shows in the tank right now. We are featured basically anywhere on the internet that you can download your podcasts, Google, iPod, pretty much anywhere. And I want to remind everybody too that all the other shows that we have, we can download at the shrimptank.com/Boston for past episodes. So again, Brandon, we want to welcome you to the show today. It's really great. We've been following you for a while. I know Chris has worked with you in the past, and our company, we're looking forward to working with you. Sure. One of the things that we hear when we talk to our friends in business in Boston is they've had to become pretty innovative and pivot their businesses really overnight, obviously working from home and different things. Your business that you run pretty much was designed to run out of a venue experience, whether it be a Super Bowl or hanging out with Elton John or something that required your clientele to be face-to-face. What I thought was really cool about what you've been able to do is change the model pretty quickly, where you've created, similar to what we're doing today, the fireside chat, where you're creating a virtual experience. And I did notice in the past couple of weeks, you've had things like Ozark, which is really awesome because people are obviously tuned into Ozark.
Sure.
And then locally for our Boston-based fans, we had an icon that was that I attended to a webinar was Doug Flutie, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And then more recently, just yesterday, for example, I was able to attend a thing with Brad Marchand, and my son's a big hockey player, and he was able to ask the question about what it takes to become an NHL goalie. And so far, just from his perspective, he'll never forget that experience. He might have been able to go to TD Garden and have something signed, but to have a video and have him like entertain a question like real time, I think was really amazing. So first off, welcome to the show today. And let's tell us a little bit about how you got started and all this and how you're making things happen.
Sure. And first off, thank you both very much for having me on here. Chris, I know that we've known each other for the past 2 years now. And Mark, as I mentioned to you last month when we first started talking, I see you online everywhere. So it's a true honor. But yeah. So I started the company back in 2012 on a small scale. I was a senior back at LaSalle College, and I was always very hands-on within the sports and the music world. And I started to help out some students, some faculty, some family, and some friends with premium access to tickets for concerts, sports, festivals, any type of show. So I've always had, like that passion for the entertainment world. But after working for other companies and, working a 9-to-5, role, I, saw myself unhappy. And I was like, my passion is to create a very niche market and have a business model where, we could be a full corporate entertainment VIP concierge for businesses, individuals, high net worth folks, athletes, and their families. So, fast forward to present day, TBS VIP concierge, we're a full-blown corporate concierge. So we specialize in, like you said, Mark, putting together really cool, customized, curated experiences for businesses, their employees, their clients, their friends, and their family.
That's great, Brandon. So with COVID-19, I mean, impossible obviously to ignore because
Yep.
that's why we're not sitting next to each other and we're in different locations. But for a business guy, and someone who does such unique experiences, and really, what dragged me and caught my attention was the up close and personal with people that, most people would never have the opportunity to be up close and personal with. So with that not happening in today's society, in present time,
Yeah.
what's the move?
That's a great question. And especially in our line of work, as you know, Chris, we always have to be on our toes, and we always have to have a plan B and a plan C lined up. Because, when we are doing these in-person VIP experiences, sometimes the athletes or the artists, might switch it up and say, hey, we're not going to, hang out with their client until after the game or after the show. So we're always prepared for things to potentially, go in a different direction. So as you both have seen, we're, shifting to a lot of virtual VIP experiences, whether we're hosting these celebrities on our social media, and our, VIP members and the followers and the fans can tune in and they can ask questions. So, they're still in front of the celebrities. They're just not as close, obviously. Some of the other initiatives that we've rolled out is because of our extensive network and our access, we're helping out our corporate VIP members, our partners. A lot of them are hospitals. So prime example, Cedars-Sinai out in LA, they're looking to spice things up and to show, thanks for all the staff members out there. So they said, hey, Brandon, can you and your team, have a celebrity or a, VIP talent put together a cool video, to say thank you to all the nurses and the doctors and the RAs. So we're doing a lot of that as well.
So how close, if I could just ask this question, so I guess how close to, operating costs and model and money coming in, because, a lot of businesses will not survive on the other side of this. And, we're hopeful that obviously you do. How are you structured so that you are able to withstand this, this tidal wave?
Great question. So fortunately for us, Chris, there's no overhead because a lot of our business is based off of the partnerships that we have in place, the relationships, the connections. I mean, working in sports and in this world, Chris, that's all about the relationships and the connections. So those are still going to be there. And we can all agree that this is all going to, go away at some point. We don't know how long and in small phases. So we're, doing a lot of things behind the scenes, that's bringing in revenue. We're still, building new partnerships. We're still talking to a lot of different companies and, showing them how we can still help them out now and help them get through this if they become a VIP member with us.
So Brandon, if from what I hear is what you're out using this time, obviously to pivot, but you're also working on your long-term strategies and building strategic partnerships while you're idle
For sure.
during this period. And my follow-up question to that would be, obviously I try to look at most things, anything adversary as, where's adversity, where is the opportunity, what can be learned from something that's difficult. It seems to me that, baptism by fire, you've been forced to pivot.
Yeah.
Do you see this as somewhat a benefit for your overall company because you've had to pivot, is this maybe another offering that you think that will be added to your portfolio?
100%. I mean, truly, we have been offering this type of experience for our clients prior to this whole, madness coming down. It just wasn't that much of interest, but now it is because they don't have the option of getting, in front of the athletes, the celebrities and the artists. So now we're like, hey, listen, we can, have them FaceTime one of your clients and say, hey, this is LeBron James is checking in, your partner over at, whatever company wanted me to say hi to you. Small things like that. And again, these types of situations, they create new opportunities, like you said. And as I was mentioning to the both of you, we've been looking to rebrand ourselves over the past, I would say 8 to 12 months now. So with a little bit more time on our hands now, we're shifting our focus a lot and figuring out how we can reposition ourselves, in the public's eye. And that's going to, come with a new company name, a new logo, and all that stuff as well.
So Brandon, you and I in the past have talked about, you rebranding and,
Yep.
And I'm sure that you had something in mind as we had discussed, but now obviously the world has changed.
Yes.
How much has the plan changed?
The plan's still going to stay the same. I mean, as I was mentioning to you, Chris, we are the only corporate entertainment concierge in Boston, that has all the, services into one. So our mission and our goal is still to, paint that picture in the public's eye and in our client's eyes. Hey, we can do any type of experience, whether it's for individuals, businesses, families, their clients. So we have a few ideas that we're floating around right now, and we're trying to piece all the puzzle pieces together. And when this is all said and done, we have a very special initiative that we're going to be rolling out as well. So,
It takes such courage to start a business.
yes.
And when you have a successful business like yourself, typically the turbulence is all at the beginning of the business, or
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere down the road where you're trying to put up a huge expansion.
For sure.
But you never could have predicted something to this magnitude and
Right.
what it was and what it is. If somebody told you, well, the world's going to change in the next 3 or 4 months, I mean, what would you have said?
I wouldn't have believed it. No one could have seen this coming, and truly no one knows, what the outcome is going to look like. I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes in the entertainment world. There's no doubt about it. You read new articles every day, the whole sitting courtside experience, what that's going to look like, how long it's going to take until, the stadiums can hold over 100,000 people again. So there's a lot of, moving pieces, but, my motto has always been the same. Just focus on what you can control and let the rest, just take its course. Because there are a lot of pieces that we still have access to. But
I was just thinking about your business. Maybe that actually leads right into your model, because people might want that even better. If there's limited supply and demand in a business, if it's hard to get that, if there's only 2,000 people at the TD Garden, let's say, I don't know that that's going to be the case, but that could be really a great opportunity.
Who knows? That might be reality.
It could be, yeah. I don't know. Nobody knows. But do you have any competition? I mean, I know you're Boston based, but is there anybody that you would compare yourself as from a competitor perspective?
it's a great question, Mark. So from a company perspective, I personally, and not being biased, I don't think there's any other company out there in this market that does what we do. Yes, there are ticket agencies, there are travel agencies, car service, but there's no one centralized company that when you call them, they could do everything from A to Z, and also add that personal touch. And we take pride in our customer service. So we become friends with all of our clients. It's not just a one-off sale or a one-off transaction. But on the other hand, truly one of our biggest objections that we face, when we're not facing COVID-19, it's the willingness of, someone to learn more about what we do, because it's very unique. It's very sophisticated and sexy. And, someone may only think that we just do tickets and seats, for these events, which is a huge reason why we're going to be rebranding. But it's, the person's willingness at the company that we're looking to build a relationship with, to sit down and to hear us out and to see that we're looking to, be a new asset for their team.
So what I'm hearing is, so at some point in your business life, this company, you've experienced, or at least the feedback is, people only associated with one service or one experience.
Sure.
And then did you take that information and then build something else after that? Or how did you pivot there when you realized, if I wanted to go, see Elton John or, sit on his piano or whatever it was?
Yeah.
How did you as a business owner incorporate that information and then, add other services?
It's a great question. So, and going back to my entrepreneur, path, it was when I was working a 9-to-5 and I was working for other companies. I saw that there was it's a very niche market, but there's a need, and that there's that desire for someone who has, that type of experience in mind. They just don't know who to call for it. And I was getting these, requests where it's like, Brandon, my son, would go crazy to, hang out with Justin Bieber. But I was restricted, where I was working. So I didn't have that, kind of luxury. But through those experiences, I said, hey, listen, there are, companies out there that want to go above and beyond than just, taking out a client for a dinner or for drinks. So I said, hey, listen, through my, my connections and my network, I have access to bring these experiences to life. So about 2.5 years ago, I rolled out, this whole entire service.
Do you
I
have
know how you came up
good.
through
Sorry.
one of the biggest ticket houses, brokers in the country. And your experience there, I'm sure, went a long way as far as leading you in this direction and, building a foundation. But as you branched off and you found other opportunities within the market, what are you finding now? Are you still seeing new things that come up and say, you know what, this might be something that we should latch onto and go with?
In terms of the experience or just the services, or?
Yeah, I would say the services as a whole, because you offer many, and you
Yeah.
offer them under one roof. What's the next step for you? What's the next stage or the next service, next product?
That's a great question. I mean, we definitely want to pick it up more on the travel and hospitality side of things, because we crush it. And I'm the first to admit, like, we kill it when it comes to, the tickets and the meet and greets and the all access and the outside of the box experience that people don't even think is possible. So I definitely want to see how we can pick up more on the travel side as well, especially when this is all over. Seeing how we can put together, all-inclusive packages, because a lot of our clients do travel, whether it's for work or for pleasure, and they don't know what's going on, where they're going to. So they're, sometimes calling us, saying, hey, Brandon, what type of events or what types of experiences can you put together in Miami or LA for us, which we're starting to see more traction.
So I have a couple questions too. I mean, I find it fascinating, but do you find is it like, I call it the curse of customization, where you have to be so customized? Is it hard to achieve a margin when you're being very one-off? Because most businesses that they run, like having repeatable processes, or they're trying to increase margins somehow, but sometimes when you're customizing things, you can misprice something or miscalculate actually how much it's going to cost. Have you found that in your, because I mean, I know you have other services that are less customizable, like Big Group, but I was curious your thoughts on that, like in margins. Have you been stung and lost money on a customizable experience?
That's a great question, Mark. So we do everything that we can so that we don't take a loss, obviously. But the way that, we work, it is very unique again, and it's very special because we customize, I would say 85% of, what we set our clients up with. It's based upon their budget. So they say, hey, Brandon, our team or, my family, wants to spend $5,000, for this type of experience. What are like the top 3 best options? So then, we go back on our side of things and, we'll talk to our folks that we have, and we say, listen, our client is looking to spend this amount. They want to get, this out of the whole entire night. What can we offer them? So it will always line up with what our clients have in mind for their budget. So, and that's why we're not taking hits.
You build your margins in there. And do you have, one of the things Chris and I know, being business owners ourselves and talking to people, but do you have a business plan or like specific, measurable, actionable, like data? Are you a data guy or just by the seat of your pants?
I would say a little bit of both. Yeah. I mean, like, we have a goal for, how many corporate VIP members we are bringing in, because we rolled out the corporate concierge club, which the companies will join last summer. And we really saw a huge surge in, I would say, like September, October, November. And now we're already up to 30 different companies. And like these companies, they're spreading the word, they're posting on social media. So, we go by how many corporate concierge club members we have, how often, like you said, they're calling us. And it's not a lot of one-offs. Like once we welcome that company into our VIP family, they share it with everyone that works there. And some of the VIP members that we have, they're as large as 1,000, like people, from the account managers, the CEO, the staff, and everyone.
What 30 VIP members? What's the kind of the ceiling on that for you presently?
I mean, we're able to, take as many requests in right now. I mean, we're not seeing that there's too much, that's like coming our way where we can't manage it. So I would say I think we almost tap into every single line of work, between law, accounting, real estate, hospitality, wealth management, construction, development. So.
And is that what you're finding? There's no real one area. There's really no one place to say, all right, this is the sweet spot. it's kind of very diverse?
Our sweet spot, Chris, I would say, is in the law, accounting, and wealth management fields. They're the ones, that are going out, having a good time, telling all their buddies about us, taking out clients, taking out their families. They like having,
Scribner, that's the definition of Mark Scribner.
yeah.
Yeah, and
All day long.
I was just thinking about the opportunity. I obviously don't know yet, but obviously the past couple of years, the tax code has made it so you can't really deduct a lot in terms of entertaining and meals and things like that. So I do think there's opportunity there. I was curious, and we've had this as an issue internally. When we have so many different offerings and we become like the master of none sometimes. So we've decided really to stick back to our knitting and kind of reduce some of our offerings. Do you find by, it's like almost like a squirrel mentality. You see the money or you see the opportunity, you run for it, but that doesn't always work. Have you had any experiences there, but just offering too many things and then, like I said, the curse of customization or the curse of way too much?
Straightforward answer, no. I mean, not yet. Because again, I mean, our clients will come to us with the idea and experience that they have in mind. Yes, we do push out, prefixed packages and, really cool VIP concepts, but they say, hey, Brandon, I saw that you posted this on LinkedIn. I know that my client would love this, can you tweak it a tad bit? And again, the only time, that we would say no to an experience or an idea is when the client's budget is not going to line up with, what they want to see happen. But we always have plan B, plan C, lined up and just ready to go for them.
That's great.
Where are you as far as the rebranding? Are you close or are you getting there? Or
I'll say this, Chris. We're hoping that when this is all over, we come out and say, hey guys, TBS VIP got sick during this whole coronavirus and it didn't make it out. However, here we go. Something larger, bigger, better.
Bigger, faster, stronger.
Yes, exactly.
So Brandon, I was curious. I saw on the news a couple of days ago, I forget the names, and it really doesn't matter their names, but a couple of the venues were out there that people prepaid for events in the area. And I saw the Attorney General, out there kind of threatening people, basically saying, hey, get that money back. And it's hard when you do some of these events, like you're prepaying a lot of it. These small businesses, they would, I think, love to give the money back, but it doesn't always work that way. The consumer, obviously has lots of rights and they deserve to have them. But
sure.
Do you think that's going to be a problem for someone like your industry where, tell me what you think about that, because I see it's a lot of rattling out there.
Yeah, that's a great question. And just as a side note, I mean, there are some large companies out there. I won't say any names, but they might be facing some legal action because they're not refunding their clients for these events that are being postponed or canceled, which it's a reality. But how on our side of things, our refund policy is if the event is postponed, then the tickets or the experience that we already have in the books with them, it's going to just happen at a later date. And all of our clients know that if it gets shut down right away, we're going to, send them back their money. So they're not, just waiting for it, which a lot of companies are not doing. So we have leverage there. But all of our clients know that in the end, they're going to walk away happy, whether the experience happened or it didn't happen because of all this madness. But we've been very, 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 very fortunate. We have not had to send a single refund back because none of the events and experiences that we've had lined up have got shut down altogether.
So I find it, when we first met, and what attracted me to you and your company was just your passion and your energy. Now as you're, a few years into it, you feel you still have that same energy, that same belief that this is just amazing work I'm doing, and we're just crushing it.
100%. I mean, this is my passion. And I also, realized that when I was in the corporate world, I was 25, I was, making good money, but I was unhappy as hell. And like, I was like, why is this? And it's because I wasn't working for myself. I wasn't my own boss. I wasn't, doing what I love doing. And this is my true passion. I love, meeting new people. I love networking. We're still doing that day in, day out right now. and being able to bring to life these crazy VIP experiences that they once thought were impossible. That's what I love doing.
Hey, Brandon, I got a question for you. A lot of business owners, entrepreneurs that both Chris and I know, at some point they look at, building something pretty powerful like you are.
Yeah.
You ever think about some kind of an exit strategy or selling it to someone else? Is there an exit thinking, or are you that's not even on your horizon right now?
So great question. So we actually have had an offer to come our way to just buy us out outright, and for us to come on board and to team up with another company. However, I'm not at that stage yet to let my baby go, and we still have a lot more to accomplish, and I still have things that I want to roll out for us. So when the time's right, and when mentally I'm ready to team up and to let go of 100%, then I will sit down and we can reevaluate that.
Brenda, how many employees we dealing with, and what do you expect to get to in the next, let's say, providing we get back to normal in a relatively, realistic period of time? What do you expect to say in a couple of years?
Great question. Like you said, it'll depend, because who knows how long this is going to go for. Right. I strongly believe, that this will take a decent amount of time. Like, if this could potentially go through the whole entire year, where, like you said, like earlier, Chris, where the sports, might not pick up, where everyone is, filing in. So there's a lot of variables that will go into that answer. But I rolled out our internship program, I think when you and I first were speaking. So we have anywhere from 2 to 4 interns on board during this fall and spring semester. And they help us out with social media, graphic design, video, photography, business development, and sales.
So you are the company. Do you have someone that you're grooming to kind of take over some of the stuff that you're able to do, or because the relationships seem like they're mostly you?
Correct. Yeah.
So you're trying to groom someone to be the next Brandon type of personality, or is that not possible?
It's definitely possible. And I'm someone that loves, help others grow personally and professionally. So I definitely want to see that happen. I would love to, replicate myself and, what I do, and, have someone, focus heavily on, the B2B side, and, building new partnerships and welcoming more companies into the VIP family, for sure.
So we have a section we normally do on our show called Plead the Fifth, and you can answer this anyway. But what's been the worst thing that's happened to one of these events? And you can plead the fifth if you want, but if you have a funny anecdote or story you could share about something that went horribly wrong.
That's a great question, which we actually do get a lot. Knock on wood, we're very, very blessed. We're very, very fortunate. We're not lucky, because we put all the work in to, put us in a position where something doesn't go wrong like that. Honestly, guys, sometimes the artists or the celebrities that we work with, they operate on their own schedule, which we all know. So we may tell our clients, hey, listen, we're going to, have you come a little earlier, and we're going to, get you backstage, and you're going to hang out with A, B, and C. But last minute, something, changes where it's after the show, or they decide, hey, I've had an off day and it's not going to happen. Our clients know, again, that we're going to refund them for that, but something small like that.
Yeah. How does that conversation go down? Because inevitably it's going to happen with artists. Yeah. We know how they operate. We know how they are. Yep. They have a bad day. They have a bad day. And how do you break it to the client? And how do you keep that good feeling of goodwill with the client? Because obviously you want them back.
Right. And to answer your question, how does it go down? It just goes down. We just find out, and then we have to, share the news with our client. However, we know, to set the tone and to, give them the heads up prior to the experience. Hey, listen, there is a chance that, something changes last minute for whatever reason. If that does happen, you guys will receive a full refund, or we can, credit towards the next VIP experience. And that's been working out great for us, because there are, Chris, so many variables that we don't have control over. As much as, I personally would love to have the say in everything, and that's just, not how it works. So
on the antithesis of that, tell me about the best experience. The experience you're just like, wow, yeah, that was amazing. I just made somebody's world. I made their life.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this time.
There's so many. There's so many. I mean, you guys have seen, we brought to life meet and greets with LeBron James. Like you said, Mark, going on stage at Elton John and taking photos next to his piano. Um, what else? The Super Bowl this past February, we brought to life a 28-person outing in a corporate suite. We took care of travel, hospitality, dining, the suite. There's just so many. My parents, so a more personal one where my mother's a huge Andy Cohen fan, loves Bravo and all that fun and Watch What Happens Live. And so we were able to help her, and I actually went with her this time to go on the set of a live taping and then meet Andy afterwards. So that was awesome. Yeah.
You mentioned the Super Bowl. I mean, that's one of the things I think about all the time.
Yeah.
It's like our nation's game.
Yeah.
I mean, will you ever see a Super Bowl, super again? It just makes me wonder.
I mean, we will, but it's a matter of when, like the big question is when. Sorry, Mark.
Oh, it's okay. No. So, again, one of the things we try to do is impart our listeners that are entrepreneurs with stuff. You're obviously a very successful business person. Do you have anything in your business life that you consider like a weak spot as a business owner? Like I hate human resource stuff. And, there's things in business that you're good at, you don't like to do, or you could delegate. But is there anything in your world that you think you have as a blind spot or a weak spot?
That's a great question. So again, going back to our rebrand phase, I'm the first to admit I'm not that like savvy. I mean, yes, I am creative, obviously, but I'm not creative enough where I can think of like a new company name, how to reposition ourselves, how to rebrand. So that's why, we are talking to some folks in, that world who specialize in it. But yeah, I mean, I, take pride in, being able to pace myself, manage my time, balance all the different projects and ideas that we have every day. Someone is calling me saying, hey, Brandon, you need to do this. This would be huge for you to, be able to offer this to like your clients. So, yeah.
Brandon, for a guy who I know loves to get out there and, get in front of people, how difficult has this been?
Yeah, I get that question 10 times a day. Like all my clients are calling me saying, Brandon, how are you staying sane?
Right.
It's a challenge. Again, I keep telling everybody, I think it's all mentality. Like it's a mind game. I tell myself, hey, listen, set a schedule, don't sleep in, don't stay up all night, like set a schedule, and still, stay in touch virtually. And although it's not the same, in-person type of engagement, I'm still talking to 100 different people every day. The conversations are a little bit different, but I'm just trying to stay like this, just in front of new people and our current clients, getting outside.
So I shouldn't be ripping Tito's and soda all day is what you're trying to tell me?
I tried that for the first 2 days, but it didn't work out so well.
Yeah, that doesn't lend to productivity, does it?
No.
So yeah, I mean, I would think that, if you don't look at having a competitor, in our worlds, we try to lean in because mostly our competitors go the other way because when the news isn't good or the story that we have to deliver is uncomfortable. I think really good business people lean in towards the communication. They reach out. They have the ability, if they're smart, to grab market share. Is that something that you're doing right now? I know, again, you don't have a typical competitor in Boston, but do you look at this opportunity to grab market share?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're always looking, to capture, new business and to, branch out. And again, and I know that I'm, saying this 10 times over, but when we do, roll out our new, company face, those that we haven't already spoke to, and, those that are, just finding out about us, they'll see the value in what we have to offer them. A lot of these companies, they already, own season tickets, or they might have a box, or they might, travel, 2 times every month. So they'll see the value. They just need to, see us from afar and ask, what do they do? Who are those guys? I've never heard them before, which is great.
Yeah. I do want to remind our listeners that we're nationally syndicated normally, probably not on Zoom, through iHeart, and downloadable by iTunes, Google Podcast, SoundCloud, basically anywhere on the internet. So Brandon, we always like to ask, what from our listener perspective, what's the best way for folks to get a hold of you, how to reach out to you to get more information about your company?
Yeah, so I'm up at all hours though, so you can always reach me via phone, email, the website at thebestseatsvip.com. Social media, we're very, very heavy on there, as you guys both know. I love to meet new people on LinkedIn. You can send me a quick invite. We post daily on there. So, but again, you can call me. The number is on the website. Call, email, text at all hours, and I'm always going to respond within seconds.
Yeah, and we'll post your contact information below in the show post process, so everybody can find you. We would both like to thank you for coming on, and it's a great, exciting story. I personally, speaking probably on Chris's behalf, it's been really cool to see you pivot with the Ozark stuff and just be creative, because I think that's what all businesses have to always do, regardless of a pandemic. And I've seen so many great stories in Boston with the restaurants and, you know, just ways that people are making it happen. It's obviously not ideal under any circumstance, but I think it's really forcing businesses to be up the game in a way that they probably would have just rested on their laurels somehow. But your stuff's been really creative. I'm really happy for your success and hopefully your continued success. But we both would like to thank you for coming on today, and we look forward to hearing some more great stories.
Thank you both very, very much. Appreciate this.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.